Tuesday, 03:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The night shift operator at PJM Interconnection stares at his screen in disbelief. The grid management system is showing impossible readings. Load balancing protocols are failing across 6 states simultaneously: Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia. Demand spikes that should not exist. Supply nodes dropping offline in sequence. This is not a technical glitch. This is coordinated. This is an attack. Within 90 seconds, the cascade begins. Substations trip offline to protect equipment from overload. The safety systems designed to prevent damage are doing exactly what they were programmed to do, but the cumulative effect is catastrophic. The eastern power grid is fragmenting. 63 million people are about to lose electricity. At 03:19 a.m., the lights go out across the Mid-Atlantic region. New York City goes dark. Philadelphia goes dark. Washington, D.C. goes dark. Baltimore, Richmond. The I-95 corridor from Boston to Richmond loses power in a rolling blackout that moves faster than any natural disaster. Traffic lights fail. Hospitals switch to backup generators. Data centers activate emergency power. But emergency power was designed for brief outages, not sustained attacks. Not this. At exactly 03:17 a.m., the same minute the grid fails, something else happens. The Federal Reserve banking system experiences massive distributed denial of service attack. Transaction processing halts. ATMs across the eastern seaboard stop dispensing cash. Credit card networks struggle under artificial traffic loads. The financial system is being strangled simultaneously with the power infrastructure. This is not coincidence. This is coordination. This is something much worse than random hackers or criminal ransomware. At 03:18 a.m., military communications networks detect intrusions. Defense Department systems are under sustained cyber assault. Firewalls are holding, but resources are being consumed fighting off the attack. Bandwidth is saturated. Response times are degrading. The Pentagon's ability to communicate with forces worldwide is being systematically degraded. At 03:19 a.m., the Situation Room at the White House goes to emergency lighting as building power fails and backup generators engage. The President is awakened and briefed while moving to the secure conference room. The initial assessment takes less than 3 minutes. Power grid failure across 6 states. Banking system under attack. Military networks being targeted. Timing is simultaneous. Coordination is clear. This is sophisticated state-level attack. The question burning through every mind in that room is brutally simple. Who did this, and what comes next? The National Security Advisor presents the preliminary analysis. 3 possible actors have this capability: China, Russia, North Korea, theoretically, but unlikely to execute at this scale. The attack signatures are being analyzed. Initial traces suggest Chinese infrastructure. IP addresses routing through servers in Guangdong Province. Digital fingerprints pointing to PLA Unit 6138. But experienced analysts know that attribution is never simple in cyber warfare. False flags are trivial to create. Routing through third countries is standard practice. Making it look like China is exactly what Russia would do. Making it look like Russia is exactly what China would do. The fog of cyber war is thicker than any battlefield fog in history because the weapons leave no craters and the soldiers wear no uniforms. What should command do first? A. Cyber counterstrike. B. Kinetic military strike. C. Declare state of emergency. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs outlines the military implications. If this is Chinese attack, it might be preparation for action in Taiwan. Blind American command and control. Degrade response capability. Then move on Taiwan while America is paralyzed. If this is Russian attack, it might be response to Ukraine support or preparation for action in Eastern Europe. show America is vulnerable at home, distract from operations elsewhere. If this is false flag by Iran or non-state actor trying to trigger US-China conflict, then any response against China triggers exactly what the attacker wanted. The decision tree branches into dozens of scenarios, but time is collapsing and decisions must be made on incomplete information. Because that is what happens in the global conflict room when the crisis is unfolding in real time, and waiting for perfect intelligence means the adversary wins by default. 3:34 a.m. Additional reports flood into the situation room. GPS signals are being jammed across the eastern United States. Navigation systems are failing. Aircraft are reverting to radar and ground-based navigation. Precision-guided weapons that rely on GPS are compromised. The attack is expanding into space-based assets. Emergency services are struggling. 911 systems are overloaded. People trapped in elevators. Medical equipment failing. Traffic accidents at darkened intersections. The cascading effects of infrastructure failure are measured in casualties, even though no bombs have fallen and no missiles have launched. The Director of National Intelligence presents updated assessment at 03:41 a.m. NSA cyber teams are tracing the attack pathways. Multiple entry points into power grid control systems. Malware appears to have been pre-positioned weeks or months ago, activated simultaneously by command signal. This was planned. This was prepared. This was not opportunistic attack, but coordinated operation. The attack code shows sophisticated knowledge of American infrastructure, specific targeting of critical nodes, understanding of how systems interconnect. This is the kind of access that takes years to develop, the kind of reconnaissance that requires patience and resources. State-level actor is confirmed. But which state? The evidence is contradictory. Some signatures match known Chinese techniques. Other elements match Russian patterns. Still other aspects are completely novel. This could be new actor. This could be joint operation. This could be deliberate ambiguity to paralyze American response, while uncertainty prevents attribution. The President asks the essential question: how long until we have definitive attribution? The answer from the Director is not what anyone wants to hear. High confidence attribution, 72 hours minimum. Medium confidence, 12 to 18 hours. If we need certainty before acting, the adversary has won, because by the time we know for sure, they will have accomplished their objectives. This is the nightmare scenario that wargame simulations have explored for decades. Attack below the threshold of armed conflict, but above the threshold of tolerance. Cyber weapons that cause massive damage without firing a shot. Attribution so difficult that response is paralyzed. The gray zone where traditional deterrence fails because identifying the enemy is half the battle. What happens next determines the next decade. The Secretary of Defense argues for immediate cyber counterattack. Hit back against both Chinese and Russian cyber infrastructure. Disrupt their command and control. Show that America will respond to attacks even without perfect attribution. Deterrence requires response. Hesitation invites more attacks. The Secretary of State urges restraint. Counterattack without solid attribution risks hitting the wrong target. Could trigger conflict with a country that is innocent. Could escalate into shooting war based on false premise. Need more time to investigate. Need diplomatic channels to clarify. The Director of the CIA raises a darker possibility. What if this is cover for something else? What if the cyber attack is distraction? While we focus on power grids and banks, what if military assets are being positioned for kinetic strike? What if invasion is being launched somewhere while our attention is here? The room goes silent for 3 seconds. Then everyone speaks at once. 04:02 a.m. Intelligence agencies task every available asset to scan for military movements. Satellites reposition. Reconnaissance aircraft launch. Cyber teams monitor military communications worldwide. looking for signs that this cyber attack is preparatory operation for conventional war. The search focuses on 3 theaters: Taiwan Strait, Eastern Europe, Korean Peninsula. These are the flashpoints where cyber attack as distraction makes strategic sense. Within 18 minutes, initial reports arrive. No unusual military activity in any theater. No invasion forces massing. No alert status changes. No naval movements beyond routine. Either the attack is purely cyber, or the military operation has not started yet, or the intelligence is missing something critical. The President makes the first decision. Declare state of emergency for affected states. FEMA activates. National Guard mobilizes to support local authorities. Restore order. Prevent looting. Protect critical infrastructure. Keep people safe while systems are restored. This is domestic crisis management before it is international confrontation. Second decision. Raise military alert status to DEFCON 3, not because war is imminent, but because deterrence requires showing readiness. Let adversaries know that America remains capable despite the cyber attack. Position forces to respond if this escalates. Third decision. Engage both China and Russia through secure channels. Direct communication at highest levels. Message is simple. We are under attack. Attribution is underway. If your country is responsible, cease immediately. If your country is not responsible, help us identify who is. Make it clear that continued attack will be met with severe response. At 04:34 a.m., the call connects to Beijing. The Chinese foreign minister is awakened and brought to secure line. The American Secretary of State delivers the message. China denies any involvement, expresses concern about the attack, offers to cooperate in investigation, states that false flag operations designed to damage U.S.-China relations are possible, suggests both countries work together to identify actual perpetrator. The response is either genuine or perfectly executed deception. No way to tell the difference on a phone call. At 04:51 a.m., Moscow responds to the diplomatic outreach. The Russian foreign minister's statement is more combative, suggests that American infrastructure is vulnerable due to years of underinvestment, points out that Russia has warned about cyber warfare dangers, implies that this might be internal American failure rather than foreign attack, does not deny involvement, but does not confirm it either. The ambiguity is deliberate, necessary deterrence or dangerous escalation. The debate inside the global conflict room reveals the core problem. If America does not respond forcefully, adversaries conclude that cyber attacks are acceptable. Next time, the attack is bigger. Next time, it is longer. Eventually, it is during an actual military crisis to blind America at critical moment. But if America responds with cyber counterattack against the wrong target, the innocent party might retaliate, might consider it act of war, might escalate to kinetic operations. The cure could be worse than the disease. 05:47 a.m. Dawn is breaking across the darkened eastern seaboard. Power restoration is beginning in some areas. Engineers have isolated the compromised systems. Manual overrides are bringing substations back online. But it is slow. Grid restoration is measured in hours and days, not minutes. Full recovery estimate, 4 to 7 days. Economic impact estimate, $50 to $80 billion. Casualties from infrastructure failure. Reports still coming in, but already over 200 dead from accidents, medical emergencies, and violence in the darkened cities. The cyber attack killed people, even though no bombs fell. At 06:15 a.m., NSA cyber forensics team reports breakthrough. They have identified command and control server used to coordinate the attack. Location: neutral third country. But the server logs show access from multiple locations: Chinese IP addresses, Russian IP addresses, Iranian IP addresses. This was not single-nation attack. This was coordinated multi-actor operation, or someone went to extraordinary lengths to make it appear that way. Which system activates first in a missile alert? A. Radar. B. Satellites. C. Command link. The answer does not matter if the cyber attack has compromised the links between sensors and decision makers, or if malware in the command systems makes leaders doubt what they are seeing, or if the attack creates false alerts that trigger responses to threats that do not exist. The Secretary of Defense presents options for cyber counterattack. Option 1. Proportional response. Take down equivalent infrastructure in attacking countries, power grids, banking systems, communications networks. Show that cyber attacks are mutual vulnerability. Option 2. Escalatory response. Target military command systems. Disrupt their ability to operate forces. Hit them where it hurts most. Demonstrate American cyber dominance. Option 3. Kinetic response. Cyber attack that causes casualties justifies military response. Cruise missile strikes against cyber warfare facilities in attacking countries. Cross the threshold from cyber to conventional. Show that digital attacks have physical consequences. The president faces the decision that defines the crisis. Respond in kind, respond harder, or respond differently. Each path leads to different futures. Each future contains different risks. If you follow global conflict analysis, type GCR. At 07:30 a.m., 4 hours and 13 minutes after the attack began, the decision is announced. The United States will conduct cyber counter-operations against identified attack infrastructure. Servers will be disabled. Networks will be disrupted. But targeting will be precise. Only systems directly involved in the attack will be hit. This is not retaliation against entire countries. This is surgical response against specific threat actors. Simultaneously, economic sanctions will be imposed on entities identified as responsible. Assets frozen, travel banned, technology exports prohibited. This is whole-of-government response combining cyber, economic, and diplomatic tools. And finally, a warning delivered through every available channel. The next cyber attack on American critical infrastructure will be treated as armed attack, justifying military response under Article 51 of UN Charter. The threshold for war now includes cyber weapons that cause mass casualties. Within 9 minutes, American cyber forces execute the counterattack. Command servers go offline. Attack infrastructure is disabled. The technical capability to continue the assault is destroyed, but the adversaries remain. The vulnerability remains. The threat remains. Only the immediate attack is stopped. 12:00 p.m. 8 hours and 43 minutes after the attack began, preliminary attribution is released to select members of Congress and allied governments. The assessment: primary attack conducted by Chinese military cyber units. Secondary participation by Russian intelligence cyber teams. Cooperation suggests either coordinated operation or one side hired the other. Motivation remains unclear. No military operations followed the cyber attack. No demands were made. No clear strategic objective achieved. This makes analysts nervous because attacks should have purpose. Maybe the purpose was simply to probe American defenses. Maybe the purpose was to demonstrate vulnerability. Maybe the purpose was preparation for something coming later. Strategic outcome: massive disruption, but not destruction. American infrastructure proved vulnerable, but also resilient. Backup systems worked. Restoration is progressing. But 63 million people lost power, and over 300 people died, and billions of dollars in economic damage occurred, and no bombs were dropped, and no missiles were fired. This is modern warfare in the gray zone between peace and conflict, where the rules are uncertain and the attribution is difficult, and the responses are complicated. Lessons from command decisions. First lesson: Speed matters more than certainty. Waiting for perfect attribution means accepting continued attack. Act on best available information even when incomplete. Second lesson, cyber attack requires whole-of-government response. No single tool is sufficient. Must combine technical, economic, diplomatic, and potentially military measures. Third lesson, deterrence in cyberspace is fundamentally different than nuclear or conventional deterrence. Attribution problems make punishment uncertain. Proportionality is hard to calculate. Escalation ladders are unclear. The old models do not fully apply to new domains. Was escalation avoidable? Who bears responsibility? What decision would you make in that room? These questions haunt every official who lived through those hours because the global conflict room shows that cyber Pearl Harbor is not hypothetical future, but present reality. The infrastructure is vulnerable. The adversaries are capable. The attacks will continue. Only the scale and timing remain uncertain. Subscribe to Global Conflict Room. Inside the room where history changes.